Hey guys, it's Brick Thunder, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing setup and demo of the new for 2025 Home Depot GallyCrow. Alright, so this guy is the tallest animatronic ever in retail, tied with the new 15-foot Scarecrow. So they're both very, very cool. Cool enough that I actually ordered both of them and I have a use for both of them. I'm not really sure which one's my favorite. I think I'm gonna have to see them in person. Right now, I'm probably leaning towards the Scarecrow, but this guy is very, very cool as well. I think this one's definitely the scarier of the two. And I think seeing them in person will really solidify that opinion. I also want to do a comparison video for you guys to just show the differences and similarities there. So here he is. He just came this morning, really early in the morning actually, which was super exciting because the spider was actually pretty late in the day. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get to the unboxing. Here we go. All right, I have not looked inside. It is all cut open, so let's see what we can see on the inside. So we got the instructions actually all on one side, which is pretty cool. Usually that takes up both. But the first thing we see is the base. Let's take this out of here. Now this guy is by far the heaviest animatronic I've moved. I definitely had trouble getting the box up the stairs at the front door. He weighs about 120 pounds. Both of them weigh about 120 pounds, which is insane. So here's his base. This is really good to see, the double pole. And this is all very, very nice feeling metal. Thick, it feels like this is probably gonna last. I still would tether him, of course. And actually, we're putting a flagpole where one of them is. So we're gonna actually tether ours to the flagpole just to be safe. But even if you don't have anything and just put their own tethers on, I'm sure they would be fine. That seems very nicely done. All right, here's one of the hands. It's got the like branch type hands. The whole thing kind of looks like a tree coming up and then it forms into a creature. That is really cool. It's huge. We've got an arm, and they fully expose the arms and everything so that you can display these guys with or without the shirt. So this guy just has the like shirt and hood, and then the Scarecrow's got the hat, the shirt, and you can take it off both of them if you want to just display the full like mold. Another hand. Speaking of the clothing, there it is. Here's his hip piece. This is a leg. This is another leg, and his legs are kind of one until they split apart at the top. And actually, here's that split point right here. Another arm, plastic cover-up sections, and it feels like maybe the metal stakes are in here, or at least the tethers. Leg. Here's his massive base piece. So this is not the actual like base. This is what covers up most of it, and it looks like a tree trunk. And that looks really, really cool. It's a huge, huge piece. And very nice detail on this as well. It looks like they did like a dry brush or a rub out on this, which looks really good. We've got poles. We've got the adapter and instructions. Again, you can always use the box instructions as well. A pole. Here's his rib cage. Another leg. Tons of metal poles. A ton more metal poles. And finally, the head. All right, let's take this guy out of the box. And here it is. This thing is really, really cool. It's big. This is definitely a large head, and it looks awesome. Very, very evil looking. Look at those eyes. And then the beak is awesome. The side view I'm not 100% sure on, which I already knew from the website. I feel like the beak doesn't need to go all the way like this, but I guess it's supposed to be kind of like crow-like, so it makes sense. But yeah, from the front, that looks awesome. All right, let's begin our setup. I've got everything organized now, and we're gonna go in order of the instructions. So starting over here, we have his tree trunk base. Now there is a way you wanna orient this. As you can see, this piece fits around the next leg piece going up. So the way you can tell is this little notch over here goes around that side because you got that little thing right there, which might be for tethers. I'm not sure what that's for yet. But we're gonna line it up like this. So next what you want to do is you want to gather three pieces. We have C, C, and D. So you want to slide both C pieces in like this until they reach the hole where the screw goes in. Then you want to put two screws in right here. Luckily it's all the same size screws just like the spider, so it's very easy to do. Once you have this assembly done, you can slide it over, and then we can put two screws in at the bottom. All right, so now we're going in order of letters. So we got E first, right up here. We're gonna slide this down and just fit it into place right here. Next we have the F, slide it over like this. Now because this hole is here for access to the poles, I'm wondering if we're actually building it backwards right now and this is the back of him. But I'm not really 100% sure yet, we'll see. Just usually those are in the back. Next we want to take G and it goes over here on this side. As long as this hole is in front for you, it goes on your right side like this. We're going to slide this all the way down and it kind of has a little bit of pressure there, and that's actually to put on these plastic pieces. And there's actually a metal thing that runs across pushing down to keep these seam lines not too bad. Okay, so yes, we are building them backwards. Let's flip them around and then we will attach piece H. So how you can tell this is the front now is the sensor goes on like this. So that's facing forward, and then you got his controls over here in the back, which is actually at a pretty good level. Usually you got to get way under the base and stuff with these big ones, and or at least with the 15-foot Phantom, and that could be pretty difficult, especially in season. So having stuff right up here, easy access is nice. So next you want to take the eye pole oriented as you see right here. We're going to slide it down and connect it same way with a snap lock and then screws. Now I haven't connected the last pieces with screws yet. I waited until now, so we'll attach them all together. All right, that's snapped in. Let's put the 2 screws right in here. All right, now take your J piece. This comes out the top. I believe that is probably an anchor for something, but it doesn't look like it has any screw holes, so I'm not really sure what it is. But you got the snap lock on the bottom right here, so let's attach this. And then we also have these wires. Definitely don't forget the wires. All right, and now obviously he's getting way too tall, so this is the time where we're gonna lean him down on his box and continue just flat. All right, next you want to take K. We're going to slide it over the piece. We now have him laid down, and that makes it a lot easier. So you don't have to bring out a ladder or anything. Next we have like the knee bend type area. It is all kind of like a tree, so it's not technically knees, but that is kind of what it's forming here. And this is piece L. So you're going to snap like that and then screw that in. Next you want to take piece M, and we're going to slide it over this new pole we just added. So far it's been very straightforward. The instructions here say this requires 3 adults to do this step. I don't know why, but we will see. Maybe it will be difficult. I know this area was definitely very difficult with the werewolf, and for that I definitely would recommend having 3 people there. But this, it's attaching right here, and it's forming the hips. All right, so it is now attached. Let's get these screws in. So if you only have one person like me, I think the easiest thing to do, which is what I did, is tilt him up again, because he's still not too tall. You can get a little ladder and then force this down, because you kind of need gravity pulling on every part of him, because the blow mold pieces kind of get you stuck. Next we've got the rib cage piece. Looks like it might be easier to do the wires here and then attach it. All right, after you got the wires, let's snap it in. Now I believe for this piece, since it doesn't look like there's any screw access, the screw is actually the anchor for the tethers. So you want to use this even if you're inside right now. You screw this in and then it should keep the pieces together. All right, so yeah, that does hold it in. Eventually it gets pretty difficult, so what I did is I just used a ground stake and twisted it to get some more torque. All right, so if you're using the clothing, let's slide that on now. You just want to go over the back like this and drape it up here by the shoulders. The most important thing is that you've got your 2 arms right here lined up. This thing is almost too big for the room. It literally takes up the entire space laying down. So we're about to add the arms, and we're probably going to have to adjust them a little bit. We have Q over here on this side. Let's slide it up the sleeve and then attach it. Once you have that attached over here, we can move over here with piece S. All right, and now we can attach his hands. We have R over here on this side. All right, so onto this side, I'm going to try to show you guys as best as I can how to do this. So first we have an elastic band right here. We're going to slide that over the whole arm. Once you have that, we can slide the metal pole in. And then it's one of the connections where you have to push it in, then twist it to lock. Next we have the head. Let's attach the wire first. And then we can slide this on, and then it takes a screw. And then finally, for the last step of the decor, before we patch up some of the holes we made earlier, is the hood. So first step is sliding the elastic. Then we've got Velcro all over the clothes here. His silhouette looks awesome right now, so I cannot wait to see this thing stood up. Let's go patch up the holes we made, and then we will stand him up. So something cool they do here is there's letters over here that correspond to these. So for example, we got Z on this side. Let's slide in Z. And then we got Y over here. We've got Z1 down here, and I missed Z2 right up here. All right, check this out. He is complete other than the support poles on his base, but those have to go in once we stand him up. But he looks insane. It is so huge. It takes up this entire room, literally. So let's attempt standing him up. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. We will see. And then I'll come back to you guys when he's up. We will see him in his full glory. All right, let's stand him up. All right, he is up and he is ready. I didn't feel the need to put on the support poles just because he is already very stable indoors. Outside, definitely do that. And you wanna stake these things down with a ton of stakes. But this guy is incredible. Look at that thing's size. It's huge. It looks amazing. The proportions are all perfect. The head is really, really cool up there. Very creepy looking. This guy's definitely the scarier of the two. Between the Scarecrow, I would say. And he looks awesome. Love the full dark color scheme. I think it's going to fit the Q-line area very, very well. His arms are really cool. I'm excited to see them compared side by side. But this guy is really, really impressive. So let's plug him in and see that animation and lights. All right, there he goes. You can watch the head moving around like that. Very, very cool. It definitely did not need any animation, so the fact that they added it is totally just a bonus to me. Already as a static, it would have been amazing, but that really makes this thing one of the best ever Home Depot props in my opinion. This thing is very versatile. It doesn't really fit in any specific theme other than just Halloween. It's just scary. It's all dark, so it kind of fits wherever you want to put it. Which is really nice. I feel like most haunts and displays can definitely fit something like this in their scenes. The lights are on in the chest and on the head. It's going to be a lot easier to see at night, which you can go over to my comparison video between the two to see that. I am excited to see it during nighttime. But yeah, this guy, even in the daytime, looks amazing and very scary. So I can't wait to see this in the dark out in a really cool setting. I think people are gonna love this guy. He feels very solid. Just like all the 12-footers, I would say he's about the same in terms of how structurally well this thing is put together. So I'm not really worried about that, especially if you use tethers and you use stakes that are nice and everything. I think these guys will be great outside. But yeah, it is so impressive, the size of this thing. It just towers over any other animatronic so far. So that is really, really cool. All right, so there he was, the GallyCrow. Stay tuned because I am going to be unboxing the Worry Crow as well, the other version of this. And then, like I said, we'll be doing a comparison as well. All right, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.